This is the very first installment of the iPad tutorials, and this installment is really just going to cover basics on how to navigate the iPad. So how to turn it on, how to turn it off, and how to do basic functions on it. So first of all of these little blocks, and you probably have a different number and set of blocks, but these are apps. And you can format these however you want, so you can move them around. Right now, the ones that I use the most are my Safari, which is the internet, my mail, my Dropbox, and my grading app, right? So for you, for instance, you probably won't have a grading app, but you do have Pages. So you might want to have Pages down there because you're going to use it pretty often. And all you have to do is press and hold with your finger, and they'll start shaking. And when they're shaking, you can move them around. So I wait until I move around, and then you just press the home button, which is this button here, and that stops the shaking. Okay? And now they are all there, whichever ones I want. I've moved them around. The other thing I can do when they're shaking like that is I can put them into a folder. So I can create a folder simply by pressing and holding again, and just moving the app so it's on top of another app that I want in the same folder, and I can add it there, and it comes up with a name for it based on the type of apps that are in there. But I can change the name. I can make it English apps, for instance, or English class, and I can hit done. And now they're all there as English class, and I can hit the home button again and it stops shaking. So this is all good for organization, right? Ways to help organize your apps in a way that they work for you, because that's really what you want, right? What will help you navigate, get to what you need as quickly as possible. The next thing we're going to cover is basic stuff in the Settings app, and this is built in here, and there it is, Settings, and it might be somewhere different on yours. You just have to go look for it. And when you get into Settings, you have some options, right? And the one thing you'll notice as you're scrolling here under General is that the restrictions are on, right? So what this means is that you are unable to download any apps or upload any apps, and you're not able to delete any apps. So that's a good thing, because you don't have to worry that you will accidentally delete something that you didn't mean to delete. It's not going to happen. Okay, so you can move them around, you can test out whatever you want to, and not be too worried about it. The next option here you have is to use the side switch, and on the side you'll find a couple buttons. One is the volume button, and that brings the volume up or down, as you can see there. And then there's a switch to the right of that, or above it, based on how you have your iPad sitting. And you can have that lock the rotation, or you can have it as a mute. I like to use it as a lock rotation, so sometimes if I'm reading a document and I accidentally move my tablet one way or the other, I don't want the screen to constantly be changing directions, right? I want it to stay the way it is. And right now, I don't have it locked, but if I had it locked, you'll see that little sign there. And now when I turn it around, it's not going to do anything, right? It won't turn around because it's locked. And now if I did it again, there it is, it's turning around. Okay, so those are the really important buttons there. Another thing is sometimes you might want to change the sound settings. You are welcome to do that. And the last important thing here is that you can adjust the brightness of your screen. Sometimes you want things to be darker, sometimes you want them to be lighter here. And you can't really see it on this video, but on my tablet it's going completely dark here to incredibly bright. So I usually like it somewhere in the middle, but sometimes we have to change it based on where we are. Okay, so those are just some very basics in your settings, and I'm going to hit the home button. The home button is how you get back to the main screen. And another handy tool is if you double click the home button, you're going to see all of the apps that you have currently open. And you can close these apps, right? You don't have to keep them open. Sometimes if your iPad is really slow, it might be because you have too many apps open. And just like before when you pressed and held down an app, or I just pressed and held right here, and now they're shaking again, but they have little red circles to the left of them. If you click on one of those circles, like I'm going to close Facebook here, then it goes away. I didn't delete it. I just closed it. Okay, so it's not open. So right now I have a lot of open apps, but I just want to show you why this could be nice, because I could be going back and forth between my document and pages in Safari. I don't have to close out, find the new app, open it again. I can just double click, and no matter which app I'm in, I can double click and I can see the other apps that I can quickly move. Another way you can do that is by using 4 fingers to swipe across the screen. So when you use 4 fingers, it navigates between all of the open apps. Okay, that's another way to do that. The final thing we're going to cover is how to turn off the iPad. Now there's sleep mode, where if you press on the button that's up here, you can't see it on this video, but it's on the side there, that will lock the iPad. And then when you press the home button again, right, then you have to unlock it. And that's nice because you don't want anything to get bumped when it's in your bag. So if you just press down on that side button up there once, that's what would have happened. If I press and hold that side button, I'm still holding, I hold it until this pops up. And this is a power off button, okay? And this is how I can completely turn off my iPad. And then once it was off, I would use that same button to turn it back on again. I'm not going to do it because it'll take too long to turn back on. But it's not a bad idea to turn it off if you're trying to preserve your battery. That's an easy thing to do. Another easy thing to do is to just hit the lock, okay? Because that is putting it into a sleep mode, and that will help as well. So those are just some basics for navigating the iPad.